Hello, I'm Nick Trott and I'm the editor of Evo magazine, and today I have with me Ryan, who is the assistant editor of denofgeek.com. Now Ryan, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, we're here today to talk about cars, chases, crossing the line, movies and more cars.
Alright, let's talk about Gone in 60 Seconds. Now, not the remake, we're going to talk about the original, which was made in
1974.
1974, also features a Mustang, lots of moustaches and
Astonishing
flares and
facial hair in this film.
Cuban heels, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's an interesting film. You know, obviously it became something else later on, but this is the one we're focusing on today. So give us the general idea of the script and the story in the original.
It's certainly the most low budget one that we've covered so far. I think it was apparently shot for something like $150,000, and the guy who made it was called H.B. Halicki.
Yep.
And he wrote it, he starred in it, he did the stunts, he produced it, he bought the cars himself apparently. So, like, you know, all the cars that you see getting smashed up in this film, there are loads. I think it's something like 93 or something. All the cars that get smashed up he bought for sort of like $200 each or something like that. And I think the Mustang Eleanor is it's a 1971 Mustang that he's kind of had modified to look pretty much like a 73 Mustang because he couldn't afford to get the new one.
Yeah. So this we think is the longest cinema car chase.
Apparently so. Some people can prove us wrong, but apparently that 40 minutes it is the longest sort of unbroken pursuit in history. And the whole film is about nicking cars and you know, and getting away from the cops. Yeah. There's almost no plot.
Yeah. It's fun watching the Mustang move around the streets of LA. We think it is in Long Beach, kind of LA. It's not the most graceful looking cars either, you know, from an aesthetic point of view or from the way it actually drives. But what I really like is the over the shoulder shot. So actually being able to see the driver operate the steering wheel and how many turns, you know, to try and get this thing moving around. It's a really cool shot, and you see it both from our kind of goodies perspective and also from the cops perspective as well. So, but you know, the cinematography, it's really well done, isn't it, considering the budget?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, certainly the bits where there aren't car chases do look kind of like a 70s adult movie, if we're allowed to say that. But as a whole, that kind of gives it this kind of really, I don't know, gritty, kind of rough, tough kind of shell, really, and it kind of makes the car chases seem more exciting because you genuinely feel like somebody's going to be killed at any minute.
Yeah. Well, you do. It's unusual, isn't it, that our, you know, the guy that we're following, our hero, he's a pretty ruthless character, isn't he? You know.
Yeah, he is, and you know, we always talk about kind of, you know, where somebody does something bad in a car chase or you know, does something to evade capture. But I mean, he causes a huge pile up on a bridge at one point.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he flips the VW fastback, doesn't he? There's no messing around. He just hits it, flips it over, and keeps going. And somebody with a conscience probably would have wrestled with that.
We talked about Ronin earlier, and you see Robert De Niro's character in that. He actually flashes other road users, say, "Look, coming through, get out of my way." Not this guy. You know, he just plows straight into him.
And the Mustang seems to survive every single piece of contact. But looking closely, I think the shocks went quite early. I'm not sure he had any money to replace them because the way the car bounces, you know, that's a clear indication that the shocks have just exploded at some point and the car's just relying on its springs.
So there is one point where you see it go past like a speedboat, isn't there?
Yeah, it's sunken on its back axle, so something's clearly broken there. And the cop cars, they're just kind of anonymous sort of
furniture, aren't they, really? Yeah. And speaking of furniture, he drives through a sofa at one point, which I thought was quite exciting.
Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? It's that, again, the stereotype. There's one person on each
People
end
carrying something.
It's not the glass or the water butt.
I suppose now it'd be a flat screen telly, wouldn't it? 50-inch telly.
Yeah, that's right, straight through it. It's great for its kind of its overall kind of length as well. It's great to see the cars being driven really, really hard. You sense that there wasn't so much storyboarding and scripting, really.
No, I don't think there was.
It was just a lot of cars doing a lot of crazy things, you know, on the street. So
and the director willing to put himself on the line as well.
And he did, didn't he? Towards the end. So tell us what happens, you know, towards the end of the chase.
He kind of goes over a ramp. I think it's a police roadblock, isn't it? And then and then the Mustang, poor Mustang, having survived so much, is launched into the air, and you see it come down. You know, it's not a Hollywood stunt at all. He just comes down hard right on his nose. You know, and you just see it crumple. And apparently, Halicki, bless him, he damaged quite a few vertebrae in the making of that scene. And you can see they got the money's worth out of it, because they show you it 4 times in slow motion and.
Yeah, and from all the different
and
angles
all different
as well.
angles.
There's no reshooting,
like a martial arts film, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's a fun chase, and it's such of the moment, isn't it? It's again, you know, from my side of things, it's so good to see cars of that era on those tyres being driven in that way. You know, you're getting a little snapshot of the dynamics, how those cars would have been like to drive, you know. Because even today, classic cars tend to have better tyres, better brakes and everything like that, so they're not truly representative of how they were then. So when you see like an early 70s car chase, you think, oh yeah, those hubcaps really would fly off the wheels of that, but the suspension really would collapse if you did that, you know. And watching them again from that over-the-shoulder shot, trying to wrestle the cars through the corner, loads of lock, and it's great fun. It's like a historical, you know, document for me.
It's lovely, yeah. It's a little time capsule, isn't it, from a great period of motoring, definitely.
Yeah, no, good chase. Yeah, interesting film.
And a big shout out to the lady with the umbrella who petulantly hits the bonnet of the Mustang as it's going past.
Indeed. Cheers, Ryan.